there is one such a history. It doesn't yet include an end, but it is no much longer wherever it began. Fleeing a warfare-torn town, I met Batoul recent summer fair external the Syriac town of Raqqa, the city ISIS named its equity. She fled her town 8 months pregnant woman. Fleeing coalition airstrikes designed at trembling ISIS of its fortress, and braving ISIS snipers and earth mining intended to halt civilian population of outgoing, she led her 3 little family and mental sick man out of the town and off of risk. She felt anything but terrorism, she says, but she knew she had to get of, for the sake of the infant she was transport, and her 3 family whose hands she detained. They escaped Raqqa one previous night in a escort of few families all hunt for security and the opportunity for surviving. The car over her blown, she says, while it heard above an ISIS blasting. Same item how done me keep was my infant, she said me time I was in Syria accountability for PBS NewsHour. I was frightened to offer childbirth in Raqqa. We were frightened for ourselves and as well for our guys, she told. Frightened since of all how she and her household had observed and endured. In the year up she fled Raqqa, time ISIS remained entrenched in the town, ISIS authorities concluded her man for the criminality of hard to supporting his household by marketing cigarettes. For 4 persons months she took thoroughness of her guys, treated as a chambermaid clean houses, and pleaded in ISIS to complimentary her man of captive. Ultimately she pay $1,200 for his produce. She told she saw no end to the Muslim country's horrors. I went to the physician in my child while she was patient, and we saw a decapitation, Batoul told. They ran off of the inexpressible Shah of Dai, but her child couldn't overlook which she had seen. And no one could she. By the period the household achieved the camping for Raqqa's moved, thousands of her town already had populated in. Fair weeks later, she brought a infant, a slight lady who weighed fair 3 pounds. How is while I met her, 2 weeks following the infant arriving. Meeting amongst the moved recent August, in her diminutive infant in her weapon, she tell expressively on which she hoped for the next. Same Syriac human beings include grown-up weary, but particularly the human beings of Raqqa, she told. We incurred a lot by the monitoring of ISIS. And we expect to go behind. She requested to go behind to Raqqa, she told, but not by ISIS. Behind to a various next and a lifetime imbued in expect and pleasure, not die and war and drapery and beheadings. We completed our history. I leftward Raqqa and went behind household. 3 months after, US-backed forces released Raqqa of ISIS. I mind of Batoul. How was she? How were her family? How was her diminutive baby infant, so lot less rather than all the newborns I was used to vision behind household in the joint state? How was she operating all of it? Back to Syria Batoul remained on my reason or, 6 months after, in previous February, I refundable to Syria to study my following volume. I said my Syriac fellow I requested to back to the camping and see if Batoul was yet down there. He said me the prospect were thin. Certainly, he told, she had lost household or leftward the camping for a new purpose. Though if she were yet down there, the camping extended town blocks and now was household to thousands. How would we always discover her? We solved to attempt. We done our way to the camping for the moved. Lot of Raqqa had leftward, but which thick felt lava entire town had sprouted up in the camping in the intermediate part year with my recent trip. And lot of the city of Deir ez-Zor, wherever the ISIS struggle continues, now imbued its lanes. We showed Batoul's image, on my telephone with recent summer, to a few guys in accusation of the camping. They sharpened us in the direction a camping at the end of a length number. Fair Amin, a vote told of within while a camping admin named Hi. A time after, a female step out in the camping's lively path. It was Batoul. As storytellers, we seek to support our backup, our shoot. To do our job so, we include to since differently the heartbreaks you see can be too lot to hold departure and the greater story can get loose. Down there is ever else history to speak, to stake, to try and go human beings and shaw how deep private war is, although we never say on it how path. But in how time, I thick felt no range, fair a sense of joy as I hugged her, a female, a surviving, a mom, whose destiny I had mind of so really frequently. And as she tell and showed me her stocky, lucky, wholesome infant lady, her camping warm cozy in a radiator pay for by a job she favorite in a mercy down there at the camping, that she treated time her family were in grade at a neighboring high school, my eyes flooded. I had wondered if the infant had done it, if they had kept as a household. And now there she was, expressive me how not just were they were prosperous. 5 year, no books, no teaching staff, she says, indicating to her family as they hopped about the camping. It was Friday, their day away. Currently they are training, she told. She ambition they will be teaching staff. I do not wish them always to go behind to such black times, she says of lifetime by ISIS. But her household cannot go household now since down there is no household to go to. Airstrikes equalized their building, she found out a few months back. It was a really, really sad stage, she says of her back to her old road position liberation. She saw bodies in the road and was said down there were mining all above, in refrigerators, tea kettles, all through Raqqa. I cried. My man thick felt patient, and I said him, don't worry about, appreciate God we are live, she says. Same largest essential item is how we are released of ISIS. A next complementary of ISIS, and although the coalition's war campaigning squashed her household, she says, the airstrikes were out of issue required. No one could destruction, ISIS, out of airstrikes, she told. Same airstrikes done them keep. And currently, she says, following ISIS, so lot is probable for the next. I include expect for a superior lifetime, she says. We are in a secure location, we are rid of suppression. Or, she says, we can't dwell in the next as we did by ISIS. They ruined all our ambition. Raqqa's countrymen are prepared to restarting their lives, though if they include lose their homes. They wish to shove striker following so lot year by the dark banner of ISIS's rule. But the planet how intervened to end the rule of ISIS cannot leave Raqqa currently, she says. Key job on the basis of that all some hopes sit, remnant to be made. Following the destroying of the town, who will restore it? We don't include whatever, she says as she reflected her wholesome infant lady in her leftward hand. It is the liability of the planet to assist us. Raqqa's families will do their portion of year and restore, she says. But they cannot restarting a crushed town all on their own. Batoul completed talk. I am so really joyful to see thou, I told and thanked her for host us in her camping and dividing her history. We hugged as I leftward, and a few protocol after my Syriac fellow, who had transferred for me, ruined the silent in that we walked to our vehicle. She is really powerful, he told. He's nice how we found her. I nodded but found I couldn't rather say in the time. Batoul's is just one history. But it is one how stands for a entire lot of other mothers, fathers, slight ones, enterprising via a war how has extinguished the force of adjectives to explain its Hades. And still, once, they are operating to hold expect in brush. Now it is up to the planet to do its portion, to assist the town restore and human beings back household. Not just for the sake of Batoul and her family and tens of thousands love them, but as well for its own gain. Since if the area is to include a steady peace next, it will be since of moms love Batoul who reject to offer up, who stay established to lift educated man family and learn them to trust in loving and opportunity, in spite the bloodbath of their nationality's warfare.